What's up, everybody? This is Patrick Sugup with Sugup Real Estate Services in Fort Collins, Colorado. I appreciate you guys watching my YouTube videos, so if you would, please like, subscribe, and comment after you watch this video. Last video, we spoke about negotiating contracts from the buyer's perspective. And in this video, we're going to talk about negotiating contracts from a seller's perspective. So I think the first thing to understand is, how did you price the property originally? What is the property's position in the market? Were you really trying to go reach for the sky for that highest price? Were you trying to appeal to the masses? Or were you trying to create a bidding war? Really, that will help determine where you are needing to go with your negotiating tactics. And so that's where we're gonna start, is understand what the seller's goals are and where your property is positioned in the market. Now, it's also important to understand what type of property is yours. Is it an investment, a fix and flip opportunity? Has an owner really cared for and loved on this house for the last 15 to 20 years? Is it dated? Is it been completely upgraded? Are you the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood or the fanciest house in the shittiest neighborhood? I think it's really important to understand those aspects when you are negotiating with a potential offer that comes in. Once you understand how you positioned your property in the market, where it's at as far as inventory, other houses in the neighborhood, as well as what type of opportunity this is for a buyer, at that point, you can really start to understand how your property is acting in the market. Is it sitting on the market? Has the days on market increased? Has other properties around you been moving? At that point, there's really two reasons why that would be happening. It's gonna be your price, or is it insufficiently marketed or marketed improperly? Is the zoning, pictures, walkthroughs, details, descriptions, bedroom, bathroom count, square footage, are all of those things accurate and properly marketed? If not, maybe you need to adjust that. And also you need to look at what the price is. If it's sitting on the market and others moving, it could be that it's priced in too high for what the market is going to allow. So you've received your first offer, and it comes in with, it's a financed offer from a buyer XYZ person, John Smith, Janie Smith, whoever that might be. It never hurts to do some due diligence to look into the buyer's financial ability to close, what his or her experience is, if it's a fix and flip opportunity or an investment property. Have they bought a property before? Have they flipped a property before? Or are they gonna run at the slightest misstep on an inspection? So doing your due diligence up front is really part of the negotiation. Now, if it is a buyer's market and this is a first offer you've seen in 3 months, you might be willing to take an opportunity, say, you know what, screw it, let's just go ahead and see what happens. But even at that point, I still would strongly suggest going through, doing some due diligence, seeing who the lender is. Are they somebody who lends to anybody and everybody who's breathing? Or do they really try to pre-approve somebody and can close on time? So when that contract comes in and says 35 days to close, you can take to the bank, so to speak, that your property will close in 35 days. Doing your due diligence up front could save you massive headaches on the back end. It is important though, and the reason I say this, because in 2016 and 17 and 18, we were in a market that was so hot that people were writing love letters. If you're gonna do your due diligence and vet the potential buyer, make sure it's on ability, experience, and income. Check to see those figures and understand if they're gonna be able to accomplish the deal based off of those really solely. Don't look into their background, who they are, familial status. You're just asking for a discrimination lawsuit. So it is important to really base your background checks on income, ability, and experience. Alrighty, so you vetted out your potential buyer. They've submitted an offer, you've done your due diligence to look at how they're financing it and what type of capability they have to close. Now, you have really three options from here on what to do with their offer. Counter, some say counter everything, ignore, or you've got that beautiful full price, quick close offer that checks all the boxes with a very qualified buyer. So accept, sign the papers and send them back. Those really are the three options. Now let's dig deep into each one individually. Alrighty, so the countering everything method goes like this. Even if you get a completely ridiculous lowball offer, which we've discussed in previous videos, counter back. If you're listed at 400 and an offer comes in at $330,000, counter back at $397,500 or $399,000 or $400,000. Give the buyer an opportunity at that point, if you desire, to accept your counter proposal. They might just be fishing, you never know. The next thing you could do with countering everything is exchanging price for terms. What I mean by that is, okay, they've sent you an offer that's less than your list price. Well, at this point, maybe tighten up some deadlines. If they had 14 days for their inspection objection, move that to 10 days. If they have an appraisal objection and resolution, remove the resolution, remove the objection. Allow them to get an appraisal, but let them know that they're going to be needing to bring any additional cash if your property does not appraise to value. Also, maybe consider carrying some financing if you're in a financial position to do that. What I mean by that is, if the seller only if the buyer only has a certain amount of down to bring and they can't afford to bring more, or if you're in a financial position, potentially carry some of that loan, that down payment for the buyer. They might only qualify up to a certain amount, but if the lender is willing and able, or if the lender is willing and wanting and you're able to financially, consider bringing some financial of your own to the table. Carry that down. That could get that price up to the point that makes sense for you, and if the buyer is willing, could be a win-win for everything. Another idea when you're countering everything is to consider putting in some verbiage that the buyer is going to take the property as is, that the seller will not make any repairs, but that it doesn't necessarily disallow the buyer to cancel the contract. Another idea is to potentially make the earnest money go hard or non-refundable within the first 5 to 10 days, or a portion of that earnest money, so that if you're going to, as a seller, pull your property off the market, not necessarily allow other buyers to come through and look, there should be some financial hardship possibly if that buyer's offering you a less than full list price. So consider exchanging price for terms on your counter everything approach. All right, now counter to the counter everything is ignore. I've worked with a seller who was extremely experienced, was actually a broker for many, many years, and it was a property that had been ran as a rental, pretty hard, needed a lot of work, was a very unique opportunity in the market. So we had a lot of fishermen out there. What I mean by that is a lot of people casting out really low offers. And that's fine. I appreciate the game. But this seller, what his position was to not counter everything and to just let some of these lowball offers go. Well, an opportunity came when, or I should say, opportunities can present themselves when you ignore an offer. Sometimes those fishermen really want that property, and if they can get it for $30,000 less, great, but they might be willing to go up more. And an example is, we had a listing that was at $379,000. This one group of buyers came in at $330,000 was their first offer. We ignored it, didn't do anything, didn't even really respond. Then about 3 weeks later, they came back at $345,000 and then ignored that one, didn't really care about it. And then 2 weeks later, they came back at $360,000. They went from all the way from $330,000 all the way up to $360,000. It actually did leave a bad taste in our mouths, so we didn't counter that even. We ultimately sold the property to a great buyer who's flipping the project right now, but ignoring an offer might bring that same group of buyers back in the future. And finally, if you are that lucky person that gets that property, and honestly, you don't even have to be lucky. You could just be a homeowner who's taken really good care of your property, and now it is time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You get plenty of offers to come in. multiple offers, you felt like you've listed your property at the right price. There's just so much demand for your home that even at the price that you felt was market, people are going above. You get an all cash, quick close, above asking price offer. What else are you gonna do except accept? So the best when you get something like that is just to go ahead and accept that offer. Don't necessarily need to counter. Why? You know, it's a great offer. So that being said, those are the 3 options really of when you get an offer on your listing. Counter everything, ignore, or accept. Some ideas about getting the price that you want for the home that you have that's on the market. Potentially wait. In a market where the median price is about $425,000 to $450,000, every month that you wait, there's about a 5% appreciation annually, which equates to around $1,500 to $2,000 a month appreciation. Every 2 months, your property is going up about $6,000, $4,500 to $6,000. So wait. Or if you're on the market and you want to create urgency, accept all offers by a certain date, letting them know that you're going to review them at a certain time might create that urgency. Also, if you're in a highly desirable neighborhood, most of the time buyer's agents will know that, but it doesn't hurt for you or your listing agent to express that information. Hey, this is the first house in this neighborhood to sell in the last 18 months. Very rare, hard to come by home in highly desirable neighborhood. Create urgency, just as you do on the sell side, create urgency on the buyer side when you're negotiating, create urgency on the seller side as well. And our final pieces of information to help you negotiate and navigate through listing and negotiating your property is to don't play your cards when you're negotiating the price. There are 3 times that you need to negotiate when you're under a deal, potentially. The price, inspection, appraisal, potentially other areas as well, but those are gonna be your 3 main ones. Don't let the buyer know that you're moving out of state and that you have to close. It just gives him or her the opportunity to be that much stronger on the inspection side. Also, consider not going too low from the price that you want to end at, or sorry, too close to the price that you want to end at. And the reason is because again, you have 3 areas to negotiate: the price, the inspection, and the appraisal. If you come in at the price and you want to, if you're at 375 and you want to end, your bottom number is 350 because you want to use those funds elsewhere, don't be negotiating to 350.25, because when that inspection comes up and you got to put a radon system in and replace the water heater, all of a sudden those are $4,000 worth of expenses that you're going to have to come out of pocket, and you're below that number that you want to end at. So be careful to not negotiate too low, because you are going to have other areas to negotiate in the future. Alrighty guys, my name is Patrick Sugup with Sugup Real Estate Services here in Fort Collins, Colorado. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment below. And I really enjoy making these videos, but I enjoy more interacting with you guys that have found these videos useful. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.